Hello and welcome to another 5 Minute Friday, which is always going to be my go-to, joke because it's never going to be 5 minutes. It's always going to be 10, 15 minutes. And this week, I have a very special guest. I'm joined this week by the lovely Skye Michiels. Skye, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing so good. And I didn't realize this was 5 minutes. This is awesome.
Oh, it's only supposed to be 5 minutes. It never is. But in theory, it's only 5 minutes because you're
Right.
supposed to be quick and, but no.
Snappy.
Yeah, I just keep talking, so
Yeah.
it's never 5 minutes. So I doubt anybody doesn't know who you are, but for those who don't know who Skye is over 20 years as a real estate agent. He was in Compass. He was the director of Philadelphia market, right?
Mhm.
And also the head of agent coaching, right? And agent development, right?
Yep.
So I knew Skye on, that level, but the first time I met you, you were doing a live national call for Compass and you needed a sidekick.
Yeah.
And I was asked to be the sidekick. And I was so green, I didn't have a halo. I think I was sitting in a room and it was dark, you could barely see me. And anyway, it was still great fun and we've got on great ever since. And I've always enjoyed that. But recently, Skye has launched his own coaching program, and it's with Heart Coaching, which I love. I love where this is coming from. And so if you don't mind, I'd love to talk about, what you're so excited about now that you're doing it all your own, for your own boss, and any challenges you've had in doing this that were surprises to you.
Yeah. So first off, hey, I'm so thrilled to be on here. And I remember presenting with you the first time and I was like, I love her accent and her energy. And, we've been fast friends since that moment. So I can't thank you enough for having me on. So I formed with Heart Coaching. I left Compass at the end of February 29th. So Leap Day, I left. That was my last day at Compass. And then I formed this company. I started to consider April 1st as like the beginning of the company. And my goal of forming my own coaching company is that I wanted to be able to help people. And once again, with heart, right? So doing everything with heart, care, love, kindness, happiness, all these good things that make life worth living and make business worth running. That's what we want to infuse in everything that we do. So it's been an amazing 6-month ride. We're starting to hit our stride. I have, basically 3 programs that are my bedrock programs. I have my one-on-one coaching clients. I have a program called the Happier Human, which is sort of a life coaching program. And that's like a monthly subscription, very low expense. It's a group of people that we don't even talk about business really. We just talk about how to be happier and healthier in that group. Very similar to other morning groups that I've run in the past.
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot to mention 6 a.m.ers. Oh my God, how could I forget that? Of course, the founder of 6 a.m.ers, which has been enormously successful and still running today.
Yep, till this day. So and then the third program, which I'm really excited about, is this program called the Forever Real Estate Client, which is a real estate training program, all designed to give agents the ability to have organized CRM, have consistency, have marketing outreaches, and really build a repeat referral business where they build forever clients, meaning clients that are not just using them in the buy and sell, but are actually in the marketplace referring them and advocating for them. And that's where you develop this really powerful long-term business that you just wake up, you love doing the work, you love being in the business, you love helping people. And that's sort of the dream, that in 7 weeks, we're going to give you an organized CRM. We're going to give you a marketing plan that you know exactly what to do, that's authentic to you, right? That's your marketing plan. It's
That's
not just
really
something I tell you to
important.
do. Really important.
Yeah, because so many of these things are generic and they don't speak to who you are and you're not comfortable doing these things.
Right.
So the fact that it's for that person is really good.
Huge. And then and then other things along the lines of action plans and tasks using social media in a reverse way where you're communicating with people, not just posting stuff on social, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But the bottom line is it's not really a training course, it's a transformational course, right? We want to transform your business. into something that you'll just love and be in love forever. So
Yeah, and 7 weeks is a great time frame, I think, for a
yeah,
course. It's like, boom, you got it done. Next.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
dragging out. It's not like 3 months commitment,
correct.
7 weeks. That's great.
Yeah.
So what were the challenges that you found starting out on your as a coach for yourself?
Yeah.
Because you don't have that.
The easy coaching is the easy part, right? Like that's the easy part. Actually doing the coaching is simple. The two big challenges, and they're not surprises per se. Like I knew these were going to be the challenges. The challenge one is getting the clients, right? It's coaching is very similar to real estate sales because of the fact that as a realtor, you're basically promising someone future results. And then you're not really getting paid for those future results until it actually happens, right?
Yeah.
Coaching is very similar, right? You have to convince someone that the services that you're going to provide are going to produce something in the future, without really being able to like give it to them first. It's not like you're going to buy a car, you buy
Yeah.
the car, you got the car. And our world is really geared at this instant gratification, right? Instant reward, gratification, etc. So people want to give money and get a reward. And unfortunately, that's just not the way that coaching works. So I think the hardest challenge we have as coaches is displaying the value that we provide and what makes us different, and then convincing someone that it's worth the money that they're investing. And I use the word investing, not spending.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good points. And it's something I've spoken about in the past. It's about how some coaching programs and people who attend them, you know, they think they're going to get it by just absorbing, by being in the room, but you have to put the work in.
That's right.
But some coaching programs kind of rely on people not doing the work.
That's right. That's
So
right.
you,
Exactly. I use the analogy of our medical institutions, right? They're very our medical establishments are very geared at treating symptoms, not treating root causes. So,
yeah,
for example, like if you take this, you have high blood pressure. Here's a pill. Take this pill. Blood pressure goes away or goes down. And then you stop taking the pill, it goes right back up. You didn't address the root issue of bad diet, no exercise,
yeah,
stress, et cetera. So realtors in a lot of coaching programs, they say, send this email, make these phone calls. All we're doing is sort of addressing the symptoms, aka like giving them the blood pressure medication without really going back into, well, what's your why? What are you driving at? What are your non-negotiables? How does this actually be? How does this work really make you feel valued and authentic and real?
yeah.
And that's what we really got to come back to. And I think that's what I take pride in my coaching, is that we don't just like tell you to do stuff for no reason. Like we're actually going back, and it's really more of a
Formative.
formative, thank you, journey where we are actually trying to change. And in some ways, my goal is to get fired.
Yeah,
Right? That's my
exactly.
goal.
It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, I've moved on. I've done that. Now they're going to come back for other stuff or
of
whatever.
course.
But
Yeah,
exactly, you want to see people go like, I know how to
yeah,
do this. And,
exactly.
and, and that's one of the things when I'm training people. I First thing I do on our next meeting is, how did you do that? How did you implement it? Show me how it's working for you.
Right.
And that, so they are actually learning and not just watching me do it. They are
Yeah.
actually doing the work themselves. And I think that's really important in
So
any
important.
coaching or training.
So
So
important.
one of the things, I mean, even the name of your coaching program, With Heart Coaching, you always lead from a place of goodness and you believe in kindness and integrity. Now, can you tell me about a time when that kindness and integrity just didn't resonate with someone, no matter what you're trying to do? It's just falling on deaf ears, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
I
not
think
in everybody.
it's not. And what we coach to is not for everyone as well. Like a good example of that is like our coaching philosophy and model is very, very well suited for the repeat referral agent. It's not the best model for the rainmaker or like the Zillow Flex agent, the people that have like maybe a really large team that have lots of internet leads coming in, a lot of, click and repeat or dial for dollar kind of a team. It's sort of not what we do, which is, there's no criticism of that model. It's an amazing model. I have a lot of respect for people that run it. It's just not the model that I personally coach to. So that's, I guess, the biggest thing. And not to say that they don't operate with kindness and integrity, but when you're working in an internet lead or a cold lead, it's a much, much different mindset and process than when you're working a repeat referral sphere of influence style of business. Right. So in that, like, in some ways, when you're doing the cold leads, like, the word kindness probably is thrown out the window. And in many ways, it's more about repetition and numbers, right? How many times do I call this person before they finally respond, right?
Yeah.
If you do that to someone, they will never call you back.
No.
Right.
No.
So
and
it's like, really critical. We espouse this authenticity in what we do when we're dealing with repeat referral, sphere of influence style of businesses.
Yeah. And I would say that people who don't want to work that way, you just don't connect. And that's a good thing. Because as we were talking about earlier, you're in a position, and I'm in a position to work with the people we connect with and the people we want to work with, which is phenomenal. It's a phenomenal position to be in. So I want to talk about, growth misconceptions. So what would be a common growth misconception that you and your coaching debunks for agents? What is that?
Yeah. The biggest misconception is that outcomes are the goal.
Right.
The goal is the process. The process is where the magic happens. The process is what you want to obsess over. The process is where all the outcomes are created, but not visible. And the misconception is that I want to produce outcomes. Yeah. And if any coaching client or anyone out there listening to this, my goal is never to produce outcomes. It's actually to produce processes. And the reason why that is so incredibly critical is because of the fact that if you can produce a process that is consistent, replicatable, and enjoyable, that person will do that for life. If all I do is produce an outcome and it's not, once again, something that they can do consistently, it's not something that they can replicate, it's not something that they enjoy, the minute we stop working together, they will stop doing that process. So the biggest misconception with entrepreneurs or anyone out there, this is for any human being really, is outcomes are what matter. Outcomes are just the byproduct of your process.
Yeah, exactly. And if your process is good and meaningful, the outcome will follow.
That's it. And the reality is, the minute you get to an outcome, there's another outcome that you set. So I call this, life is like climbing a mountain that has no top, right? And the minute we achieve something, life doesn't end at that achievement. Then we do another achievement. That's why the real gold that you find in a coaching program is when you uncover that process.
Right.
That's the gold. That's the magic.
And it's different for everybody.
So different for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I love, is that it is different for everybody. And there isn't one rule book for everyone. You originally were a school teacher, and then you became a real estate agent, and then you worked with Compass and became a coach. So now you're a full-time coach. I mean, no one plans these things. So how has coaching really influenced your life and your perspective on life? I mean, how have you grown from the process itself?
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is that I'm full circle again. Like, I started out my professional career as a teacher, and now I'm back as a teacher. So, I think there is something that probably the biggest influence or lesson I can impart would be to always go back to things that you love to do. I love to be a teacher, and I infused that into my real estate practice. I infused that into everything I did. And, I think it's one of those things, when you do what you love, it's not work.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm working, I'm just having fun. I'm playing, I'm helping people, I'm laughing, I'm, smiling all day. It just is a beautiful way to live your life when you can do something that you just love to do. So I think the biggest thing for me that, and I personally have had, I can't even tell you the number of coaches in my life, you know, let alone from like, you know, being young on sports teams to this day. I have a coach, I have a therapist, you know, I have a lot of people. I've had a personal trainer. I've had a lot of people in my life that have coached me through all different aspects. And if you're out there struggling with something, most likely you don't have, it's not a how, it's a who. You need a who in your life that can help you, right? It's not a how, because most of us know what to do, right? If you're overweight, there's probably not many people out there that if you're overweight, you know what to do. You know, you should eat, you know, eat whole food and healthy, and you should exercise and move your body, right? It's not a situation of people not knowing what to do. It's a situation of people not doing what they know to do. And that usually comes back to having someone, once again, teach them a process that's enjoyable, that's consistent, that's replicatable,
And that works for them.
that works for them, that's
Yeah.
authentic for them. And that's a whole key, right?
Yeah. No, I love that. I really do. I love that. And I'm going to wrap up with my last question. Is going to be like, poor real estate agents, honestly, they've had what a few years from COVID to, you know, the interest rates to NAR to now they're talking about the Clear Cooperation, changing this. So I'd love your insight into how you think this is going to change agents' position and the whole industry. How do you feel?
The first thing I'll go back to is I've never have seen agents more tired than they are now. They've been beat up. It's been a roller coaster for 4 years. Every time you turn around, there's a new change, a new market condition. 1 month everything is selling, 1 month nothing's selling. It has been a roller coaster of a 4 years process, and it's going to continue. We are not done with the changes in this industry. My overall rule of thumb is that for the professional full-time real estate agent that cares about their business, cares about the industry, cares about doing a really good job, this is going to be the best thing that ever happens to them. Really? For the agents who are part-time, who sort of dabble in it, you know, don't really take it seriously, I do believe we're going to see those agents start to leave the industry, which is not a bad thing. You know, in some ways, if you are not a full-time professional, I don't believe you should be handling millions of dollars worth of someone's financial transactions. So, you know, if you're a financial advisor, you need to pass the Series 7. You got to be really professional. Yeah. I think real estate should be the same thing. And what I'm excited about is watching agents that I'm coaching and that I know who are really positive, very motivated, who have taken this situation and regulated the negativity and now are reframing it into a positive. And the positive goes back to 3 things. Number 1, we have been handed the gift of being able to create boundaries around what we do and who we represent. In the past, a realtor was always under this pressure, I think, to sort of work with someone without a commitment from that person because they were scared of losing that business. Now everyone's on the same playing field. We're all working to the same rules, and you need to have a contract signed before you show someone a house. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on the whole NAR changes. I totally agree. I think it's really, really good because, you know, you can just say, well, this is what we have to do, you know, before we do anything. It's a win-win. But the Clear Cooperation, where you're not going to be putting listings on the MLS, how is that going to look? What do you think? I know we don't know yet because we don't know till we know.
Yeah. But I think the biggest thing I would come back to, and once again, I am not a legal expert, but if you do study the NAR lawsuit, you know, really what those lawyers came back to was the fact that there was a trade association dictating how a seller sold their personal property. And I think the negative of Clear Cooperation would be the fact that it really does leave the industry still open to a lawsuit from aggressive lawyers. Because of the fact, by nature, you have a trade association dictating to a seller on Main Street, you have to do this thing that may not be in your best advantage or may not be something you want to do. Because we want to cooperate in the industry. So when you start to hear words like clear cooperation, this is what the lawyers sort of clued in on. Hey, as realtors, you're sharing commissions. There's a co-op broker, right? These are the unfortunately the cracks in the wall, so to speak, that the lawyers used to prove their case and win. And I think as an industry, we are at risk of more lawsuits if we continue to have a policy like clear cooperation, because all it takes is that one seller to file the one lawsuit because they say, well, my agent made me go to market on the MLS, and now the days of market racked up, and that hurt my sales price.
Wow.
Right. So,
Wow.
I
So
think
it is a minefield, really.
it's a minefield personally. Once again, and just to be clear, I am not a lawyer. I have
No, no.
zero legal expertise, but I do believe, whether you believe it's right or wrong or good or bad for the industry is irrelevant. I think we got to go back into why the Stitzer Burnett NAR lawsuit was in play was because of the fact that the National Association of Realtors espoused this idea of cooperating, which, like I said, on the surface sounds really good. But unfortunately, in the underbelly, the lawyers took that and spun it into collusion. So in many ways, this is another little policy that lawyers could come back to say that we are basically anti-consumer.
Right. Okay.
We're just trying to cooperate with ourselves and collude with ourselves. Any realtor, anyone that really knows the industry, that was not what was happening. I mean, but unfortunately, the way we had it set it up left us open to that lawsuit, and we see the results of that right now.
Yeah, and potential more coming.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's great. Thanks, Skye. Thanks for your insight.
you're welcome.
I'm delighted you jumped on my 5-minute Friday, which, as you can see, I can never stick to 5 minutes. So there you go.
It's a good tagline. Great marketing, Tricia. It's great marketing.
Yeah, I know. 5 minutes. And also it's good. People get on, they think they're going to be here for 5 minutes and they don't even know they're talking 15, 20 minutes. And they're like, oh yeah, we're way over. So I think it's great. Skye, I'm putting up your name and your number there, or your email. If anybody's interested in reaching out to Skye, there's his email. He's got some great programs going on there. I'm sure there's something to suit everybody. And it's not just for agents. It's the full rack. It's the full coaching.
You got it. And I have my website is withheartcoaching.com. And also if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Skye Michiels as well on Instagram. 2 other areas that I have a lot of information on. And Tricia, I just can't thank you enough. It's so great to be presenting with you again. And I hope you have a phenomenal day, my friend.
You too. Thanks so much. Take care.